I want you to close your eyes for a second and think about something everyone remembers. Maybe it's a childhood cartoon, a logo, or a famous movie line. Now, imagine realizing that the way you remember it isn't how it actually was. That sinking feeling when your memory confidently tells you one thing, but the world insists you're wrong, that's exactly what the Mandela Effect is all about. I remember the first time it happened to me. I could swear a certain movie quote went one way. I argued with my friends, convinced I was right. And then I saw it on screen, and my mind completely refused to accept it. It felt like my brain was playing a trick on me. The world I thought I knew suddenly seemed unreliable. Here's the thing. This isn't just a glitch. It's your brain doing exactly what it's built to do. The Mandela effect is a term psychologists use to describe a collective false memory, when a large group of people remember something that never actually happened. It's named after Nelson Mandela because many people vividly recalled him dying in prison during the 1980s, even though he was released and went on to become president decades later. Other classic examples include the spelling of Berenstain Bears. Most remember it as Berenstain, or the Monopoly Man, whom many recall wearing a monocle, which he never did. What's happening here isn't magic or mind control. Memory isn't like a video recorder. Instead, it's reconstructive. Each time you recall an event, your brain pieces it together from fragments, sometimes filling gaps with assumptions or suggestions. This is why two people can remember the exact same event differently. Our memories feel real, but they are surprisingly malleable. I remember sitting with a friend, arguing about a line from a classic movie. I was sure I had it word for word right. My confidence was unshakable. My friend looked at me, eyebrows raised, and played the scene. Every word I had remembered was wrong. Not a single part matched my memory. For a moment, I questioned myself. Did I imagine it? Was I losing it? That uneasy mix of disbelief and embarrassment sank in deep. Then it hit me. This wasn't about being forgetful. My brain hadn't stored the wrong words. It had constructed them. I had filled in gaps with what felt right, what my mind expected to hear. That's when I realized just how fragile memory can be. Even our most confident recollections can betray us. Memory isn't like a perfect recording of events. It's more like a constantly edited story. Psychologists describe it in three stages: encoding, storage, and retrieval. Encoding is how your brain takes in information. It's influenced by attention, emotion, and context. If something doesn't grab your focus, your brain might encode it weakly or even incorrectly. Once encoded, the memory enters storage, but it isn't stored as a single, unchangeable snapshot. Instead, it's broken into fragments across different brain areas, like sights in the visual cortex or sounds in the auditory cortex. Finally comes retrieval, when you recall the memory. Here's the tricky part. Every time you retrieve it, your brain reconstructs it. It fills gaps using related knowledge, assumptions, or suggestions from others. That's why details can shift over time, even without you realizing it. Elizabeth Loftus's research on eyewitness testimony shows this clearly. People confidently remember events that never happened, simply because of subtle cues or leading questions. In short, memory is adaptive, not perfect. It helps us survive, but it also makes us vulnerable to errors, and that's exactly where false memories come from. Maybe you've experienced this. You remember a childhood cartoon character's name one way, but when you look it up, it's completely different. Or you swear a product logo had a certain design, only to find it never existed. One friend I know was convinced the Fruit of the Loom logo had a cornucopia behind the fruit. They argued about it for weeks, certain they were right. And yet, no historical version of the logo ever included one. I've seen families argue over movie quotes, confident that the lines were exactly how they remembered. Siblings recall birthdays, vacations, even small fights differently. The weirdest part? These memories feel real. People can describe them in vivid detail, complete with emotion and context. That conviction is why false memories are so powerful. They don't just trick your mind, they can shape your identity, your stories, and the way you see the world. False memories happen because of how our brains process and reconstruct information. One key factor is source monitoring errors, confusing where a memory actually came from. You might remember a story you heard from a friend as something you personally experienced. Then there's the misinformation effect, a concept studied extensively by Elizabeth Loftus. Even subtle suggestions or leading questions can alter how we remember an event. For example, hearing, "Did the car smash into the other vehicle?" can create a more intense memory than, "Did the car hit the other vehicle?" Your brain fills in details based on the words used. Social influence also plays a big role. Collective memories can reinforce false recollections. If everyone around you insists that something happened a certain way, your brain may adjust your memory to match theirs, a kind of socially reinforced reconstruction. Cognitive biases like confirmation bias also contribute. We tend to notice and remember details that align with what we already believe, and ignore or forget details that don't. Studies using the Dees-Rodiger-McDermott paradigm show how easy it is to remember words that were never presented, just because they fit the theme of the list. Put together, these mechanisms show that memory isn't just flawed, it's actively malleable. What feels like certainty can be a carefully reconstructed illusion shaped by suggestion, expectation, and social context. I was once in a group discussion about a famous movie line. Everyone confidently repeated it exactly the same way, except me. My memory clashed with theirs completely. We debated, laughed, and even pulled up clips to prove our points. Every single person in the group was sure they were right. And yet, when we checked the actual scene, no one's memory was perfectly accurate, including mine. It was fascinating and unsettling at the same time. Our brains had constructed a shared version of reality, reinforced by discussion and agreement. What felt like a collective truth was, in reality, a carefully reconstructed illusion. That moment stuck with me. It made me realize how easily memories can be influenced, and how powerful social reinforcement is in shaping what we think we remember. The Mandela effect feels so real because our brains are wired to make sense of the world, even when memory fails. One reason is familiarity and fluency. If something feels familiar, your brain assumes it's accurate, even if it's not. That's why misspelled logos or altered phrases still feel right in your mind. Hindsight bias also plays a role. Once we think we know the correct version, it's easy to convince ourselves that we always knew it, reinforcing the false memory. Neuroscience adds another layer. The hippocampus stores memories, while the prefrontal cortex helps reconstruct them. Every recall triggers slight rewiring, blending fact with assumption. That's why your memory can change each time you think about it. Social reinforcement amplifies the effect. When multiple people remember the same wrong detail, it creates a feedback loop. Confidence grows and doubt diminishes. In short, the Mandela effect feels convincing because your brain is doing exactly what it's designed to do: create coherent, meaningful memories, even if that means bending the truth. Think about the line from Star Wars: "Luke, I am your father." Most people swear they heard it exactly that way, but the actual line is just, "No, I am your father." Then there's Fruit of the Loom. Countless people remember a cornucopia behind the fruit, but it has never existed. Or the children's books, Berenstain Bears. Almost everyone remembers them spelled Berenstain. Even the Monopoly man confuses people. Many recall him sporting a monocle, yet he never did. What's striking is how confident people are. They can describe these details vividly, defend them passionately, and even feel a pang of disbelief when corrected. It's proof that our memories are convincing illusions, blending reality with expectation, social cues, and imagination. You can't make memory perfect, but you can reduce errors by being aware of how it works. The first step is questioning assumptions. When you recall something confidently, pause and consider, could I be mixing up details or sources? Checking sources is another powerful tool. Look up facts, quotes, or images instead of relying solely on memory. Cross-referencing helps prevent the brain from filling gaps with false information. Journaling your experiences can also help. Writing down events soon after they happen creates a more reliable record for future recall. Finally, be mindful of social influence. Discussing memories with others is natural, but recognize that collective agreement doesn't guarantee accuracy. Awareness is key. Understanding that memory is reconstructive, not flawless, allows you to navigate your own recollections with curiosity instead of shame. Memory is one of the most fascinating parts of being human, but it's also fragile. The Mandela Effect reminds us that even the memories we hold most confidently can be flawed, reconstructed, or influenced by others. That doesn't make us unreliable. It makes us human. Our brains are constantly interpreting, predicting, and filling in gaps to create a coherent story of our lives. Sometimes that story bends the truth without us even realizing it. Next time you're certain about a memory, pause and reflect. Explore it, verify it, and share it. But do so knowing that your brain might be telling a story rather than relaying fact. In the end, these errors don't diminish the wonder of memory. They highlight it. The Mandela Effect isn't just a quirk. It's a glimpse into how our minds shape reality, one reconstructed memory at a time.